So I did it. As of today, I've officially bought over 100 million into pipelines across over 100 tech companies. I could have just kept going, but I decided at some point that I needed to say, you know what, this is a lot of data. So I paused to look back across every sales department I've trained and every deal I've bought in myself to gather what exactly is working right now. Let's start with the high level findings. So a lot of teams believe that cold calling doesn't work as well anymore, or it's not scalable enough. I hear regularly that cold calling was a pre-COVID strategy. However, across the last month, we've booked over 200 qualified mid-market and enterprise meetings from the phone. Yes, the tech did make it harder, but the tech has caught up. There's just a new technical approach to winning on the phone today. Teams with the right tech systems can make over 1,000 calls per day per rep. So winning teams look calm and boring, whereas losing teams look frantic and reactive, running around like headless. Now, I'm not saying overnight with cold calling, you will generate 200 monthly meetings, but this is about what works most often. Not guarantees, not unicorns. So here's the 8 patterns that I identified across the 100 B2B sales teams that will increase your chances of winning today. Pattern 1, interruptive human contact. Interruptive human contact means live, real human interruption that cuts through saturated digital channels. What I mean by this is direct conversations where tone, pacing, and intent are immediately felt. I don't mean robo-dialing, call blasting, voicemails, or reading rigid scripts. All of the asynchronous channels are overwhelmed, and the brain prioritizes live social interaction because it demands resolution. For example, a CFO ignores dozens of emails but answers a call between meetings because it's faster to deal with than the inbox ambiguity. Pattern 2, compression of trust. What this looks like is establishing credibility and intent in seconds rather than prolonged exposure. How this shows up is clear, confident framing that removes uncertainty immediately. It isn't long nurture sequences, credibility dumping, or premature pitching. In high noise environments, trust is built through clarity under time pressure, not repetition. In the real world, a buyer decides within the first 20 seconds whether the caller understands their world long before any solution is discussed. Pattern 3, contextual relevance in real time. This means relevance that adapts dynamically during the conversation. Best reps will change direction based on live feedback, objections, and tone. It definitely isn't static personalization written before the conversation starts. AI has commoditized this surface level relevance. There's multiple enrichment tools that you can use to pull up their latest LinkedIn posts and put that into the first line of the message. But interpretation in the moment cannot be automated. For example, a caller may abandon their planned angle after one response and reframe the conversation around an internal blocker the buyer reveals unexpectedly. Pattern 4, decision acceleration. This means helping buyers move from vague interest to a clear priority state. This looks like calls that clarify whether something matters now, late, or never. It doesn't mean calls that exist purely to book a meeting without resolving uncertainty, because modern buyers will delay by default, and live conversations collapses the ambiguity and forces prioritization. In action, a prospect can realize mid-call that the issue is blocking a current initiative, not a future one, instantly changing urgency. Pattern 5, signal extraction. This means using conversations to identify what is actually breaking in the buying process. So calls are treated as the feedback loop for the entire sales system. So you shouldn't be viewing calls as only an SDR activity or a meeting booking metric, because outbound now fails silently. Calls will surface the friction, confusion, and objections faster than the dashboards. After dozens of conversations, a team can realize the deals are stalling due to internal ownership ambiguity, not pricing, and then adjust the motion accordingly. Pattern 6, confidence transfer. This means borrowing certainty from the caller to stabilize buyer indecision. So calm, grounded conversation that assumes legitimacy and never over-enthusiasm, pressure tactics, or performative confidence. In uncertain markets, people subconsciously seek confidence from those who appear to have seen the problem before. I've seen countless times a hesitant buyer relax once it becomes clear that the caller has navigated the same situation many times. Pattern 7, cost-effective attention. What I mean by this is earning attention without competing in digital auctions. So direct outreach that bypasses algorithms and inbox placement battles. And it's not anything that's dependent on CPMs, ad platforms, or deliverability hacks. And really, as digital attention becomes more expensive, human effort becomes relatively cheaper. A company struggling with paid ads can see consistent decision maker access from a small focused calling team. And pattern 8, instrumentation, not automation. This means a tech stack that's designed to observe, interpret, and adapt, not just scale activity. So great setups is tooling that captures conversation data, surfaces patterns, and reveals failure modes quickly. It's not tool sprawl, automation layered on broken processes, or dashboards that only report activity. In 2026, advantage comes from feedback speed, not execution speed. The right stack shortens the loop between signal, interpretation, decision, and change. A great tech setup means a team identifies within 2 weeks that deals with stalling are multi-threading because call and account level data exposed that pattern early. Now, these patterns aren't theoretical. After compiling every single one of them into a system, we've been able to add 50 monthly meetings to a company and land a 42 million Series A all across 90 days. So if you're watching this thinking, all right, I now know how my sales team is going to crush it in 2026, that's exactly where most decision makers get stuck. Understanding a strategy doesn't put meetings on the calendar. A system does. So instead of trying to remember 20 different ideas and hoping your team actually executes them, click the video in the description where I break down the exact system that created this result, the targeting, messaging, and orchestration strategy we installed.